Can we talk about the emergency crash landing in 2005?
Go ahead. Yeah. Oh man.
So this is something nobody talks about now. And I'm like, we keep talking about this because people are forgetting. And I say it to people and they're like, it's, whatever, you guys are fine. But like, we're talking about Father Rob was there. Jeff Pierce was there. I remember the athletic director's wife and twin boys were there. I don't remember Castro's wife and the two little ones were there. And then, the whole team and coach was up front. What do you remember from that flight? Because I remember being terrible.
I'm going to tell you. So I sat, I want to say I think Mikey sat in the back. Randy might have sat directly across from him. And I might have been like the third seat from the back, right? And then everybody kind of followed in front. I remember the stewardess being in the back of the plane and the phone go doom. She picks up the back of the phone, like, because we were like all joking around. And then all of a sudden I see her literally sprint. Like, you don't just run down an aisle. Like a little kid running down the aisle at the movie theater or something. Like, she sprinted to the front. And I was like, what? And that was just after the plane. Remember, the plane first went up and it took a dip. And we was like, whoa, that was kind of freaky. But it was like, whatever, And then it went up again. And then it kind of did a little dip. And that's when the phone rang and she just... So now we take our headphones on. I'm like, what's going on? So I see her go to the front door, open the door. She talking to, I guess, the pilots. Now everybody see her run down the line, everybody looking. And then I see a coach writing them up there. And then I see like their faces. You can't see what somebody, but it's bad news. You can just kind of see people's faces and reactions. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? And then she got on the thing. It was like, we're going to have to make an emergency water landing. When I count to 3, everyone brace. Boy, I'm like, no, this is fake. Like, this is fake. Yes.
Well, this is when I knew it was bad. So like, and for people listening to this isn't a normal plane. It's a 50-seater. So like one row, just one seat on one side, 2 seats on the other side.
Yeah.
That lane. I was sitting, I think I was sitting right behind Charles, because I think I was like right on the cusp there, because the big guys would sit in the exit rows.
The exit rows, yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, number one, our flight attendant, B was her name. It was her very first flight. And she was crying. She started crying. Remember that?
Hey, I think a lot of people was crying at that case. I don't want to put nobody's names out. I'll just throw my name under there. I definitely cried. I was like, what is going on?
I remember having crazy thoughts. I remember, and Coach Wright tells it. I got a chance to talk to him about this right before I left for the Olympics. And I ended up doing a story on it because I'm like, somebody's got to do a story on this. He said that she told him that they're going to land in the water, and that's be the one that's going to get everyone out of the plane.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And the plane was, you're right. It went up, down, and then it went left, right. And I'm like, it's wrong. Like, we've been on dozens of flights at that point. And here's the thing that I remember is when she tells us to brace, I'm thinking to myself, how in the world, if we do successfully land in water, I got a dozen D1 athletes behind me. I got to step over 2 7 foot, a 6'10" and 7 foot behind me. I'm dead. Like, it's over. I remember I took off my winter jacket thinking like, oh, it's going to weigh me down in the water. Like, I had crazy thoughts.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like I said, I saw when she was talking to Father Rob and those guys up there. And like I said, you could tell when it was bad news. And I saw Coach like give one of those like really? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, something ain't right. And then she said, hey, we're gonna make an emergency landing. And then it was like when she counted, she said, we're gonna do a practice. So 1, 2, 3, brace. She was like 1, 2, 3, brace. Like, it was really intense for the practice run. I was like, it's a wrap. It's going down. Trying to call my mom. Literally, it was the scariest thing ever. I mean, it's just to think we stood on the runway for about 45 minutes trying to de-ice the plane. Like, that should have told somebody right then and there, maybe we shouldn't go.
Yeah.
But
it was 2 things then too. Like, so I'm thinking to myself, you nowadays you get on a plane, you don't even think about these. Like, for anyone listening who's gotten a plane, these are all things you don't think about. Like, that your cushion underneath you is a flotation device. All of a sudden I'm thinking that. I'm like, I got to rip this thing up. It's going to hold my weight. Like, what? And then I think, we're going to brace. And it's like getting that L shape.
Yeah.
How is that going to save me? Like spine is going to come, like there's no way I'm surviving. Like,
No way.
like this. Like what? And then here's the thing. You didn't get on the plane the next day, did you? Didn't you take the train?
I know. I actually, so I got on the plane. I wasn't.
Okay.
I was trying not to.
That's right.
I was doing everything I could not to. Obviously, coach was like, if you guys want to play basketball, in your careers, like this is what you're gonna have to do. If you don't get on now, you're never gonna go on. I called my parents. My dad said, take the train. Same. My mom was like, I don't want you to get on the plane, but you probably should get on the plane if you're going to be taking the plane again, because I don't want you to be scared like me. My dad was like, take the train. So I took the plane. I know some people took the train, but I was nervous though. I'm not going to lie. And Keith, to this day, hand to God, I get nervous every time I get on a plane. Those flashbacks come on. I swear I do. Those flashbacks come to me every time.
I try to think of it because I remember the next morning I was very scared because I'm like, it was just too real. It was literally within like 12 hours. We were back on a plane. So we barely slept. So I'm still delirious and like buzzing from like, what did I just experience? I think I remember like Coach Kraft, Coach Pinckney.
Coach Pinckney
went on the train. Yeah. But what I think about now when I get on a flight is what are the chances it happens again? Like it's probably so little. Like even to be involved in what we were involved in is like so decimal point small that I'm like, it can't possibly happen again.
We use that as motivation too. Another thing we used to draw us closer together. Like we went through so much adversity. Like people, like you said, just that the phone, the injuries, like what could go wrong went wrong, but the program remained the same way. Like coach never changed on how he was going to coach and do things, no matter what obstacles might have been challenging. And I'm glad it's at where it's at.